Imagine living a life without goals. Imagine your life as a ship without a compass, lost in the depths of the ocean, and thinking about how useless and monotonous it would be. Imagine getting up every day without a genuine objective or purpose. Reason to look forward to. The only reason you get up in the morning is to go to a job you don't like, to make money to support a life that feels empty. You fill your time with things that don't really matter to you, just to try to feel better. However, if you could find something to live and die for, suddenly the world would be alive with passion and meaning. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a way to live can bear almost any how." Today, I want to help. Once upon a time, Mahatma Gandhi said that the greatest way to discover oneself was to lose oneself in the service of others. He discovered his calling in the struggle for India's independence. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. He fought for equality, justice, and human rights. He once said that a man who has not discovered something that he will die for isn't fit to live. He knew what he stood for, and it propelled him forward. His cause became his life's mission, his reason to live, and ultimately something he gave his life for. Mother Teresa devoted her life to the service of the poor and sick. Her profound commitment to her purpose led her to say, "He thought that the basic human motivation is not pleasure, but rather the pursuit of what we find significant." And Viktor Frankl, a prominent psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, may be the finest example of how to discover something to live and die for. It was his belief that the absence of meaning and purpose in one's life was the only thing that could make existence intolerable. During his time in a Nazi concentration camp, Frankl made certain observations that made it very evident that those who were able to derive some kind of meaning from the anguish that they were experiencing were more robust and had a greater chance of surviving. Frankl saw that people could be divided into two groups: those who had lost hope and given up on life, and those who still had hope and a will to live. The people who had given up were more likely to get sick and die, whereas the people who kept hope and found meaning in their lives were more likely to stay alive. This demonstrated to Frankl how powerful our beliefs and values can be, as well as how finding meaning and purpose in life can even help us survive in the harshest of circumstances. Frankl was once in a situation in which he had the opportunity to flee from a concentration camp. However, he made the decision not to do so. Rather than pursuing things such as wealth, fame, power, or even his own freedom, he remained to take care of the people who needed him. His purpose, which was helping others and staying with them, was so important to him that he was willing to risk his life for it. The profound and significant sacrifice that Frankl made when he decided to remain and serve other people. He also wrote about people who were unable to deal with the terrible conditions of the camp. These people would say things like, "There's nothing more to expect from life." They had lost hope and meaning, and without these things, they began to give up on life. Without something to believe in and live for, people's minds and bodies would suffer, and they would lose the will to keep going. This serves as a powerful reminder of how important it is to find meaning and purpose in your life, even in the most difficult of circumstances. He believes that every person has a unique reason for living, and it's something that they have to figure out for themselves. The big question is, how do you find what's meaningful in your life? Before we figure out the how, it might help to understand the why. In today's world, many people focus on getting money, status, power, or pleasure. But what accompanies those things is an emptiness. Frankl said that each person should look inside themselves and think about their spiritual side to find what makes life special for them. The problem, as Frankl saw it, is that making happiness the main goal can lead to trouble in some parts of society, like in the good vibes only movement, where people feel pressured to be happy all the time. Being happy becomes a must, but happiness is not something that can be forced or ordered. Doing this might be more challenging than chasing money or pleasure, but it can make your life feel truly fulfilling and meaningful. If your main goal in life is to be happy, without taking the time to figure out what gives your life its meaning, you may wind up feeling empty or dissatisfied, according to Frankl, who believed that happiness is a byproduct of discovering one's life's meaning and purpose rather than the other way around. Frankl believed that in order to be happy, a person needed to have a reason for it. However, once that reason was discovered, he or she became automatically happy. This demonstrates that a human being is not one who is in search of happiness, but rather one who is in search of a reason to become happy through actualizing the potential meaning inherent and dormant in a given situation. Frankl believed that the same idea that applies to happiness also applies to success. Rather than chasing success directly, if you devote your time and energy to a meaningful cause and really care about it, it's possible that success will follow as a natural consequence. On the other hand, if you're too concerned with success in and of itself, you risk losing sight of what's actually essential, which might make it more difficult to attain. Finding meaning in life is really the key to both happiness and success, according to this way of thinking. Without it, you might be drawn to things like pleasure, money, fame and power, but these things won't truly fulfill you. Now that you've looked at why finding meaning is so important, you can start to explore how to find it, accept it, and prepare to die because of it. The core tenet of Frankl's argument is that there is no universally applicable interpretation of life that is applicable in every circumstance. Rather, the interpretation of life is unique to every individual and may change depending on the circumstances. Attempting to identify a general meaning for life is like asking a chess champion for the greatest move in chess, where there is no one response, since the best move in chess relies on the unique game and the movements made by the opponent. In a similar vein, the meaning of your life is not something that you can simply invent. Rather, it is something that is already out there, just waiting for you to find it. Mr. Frankl, finding. Meaning in life is not about following a set formula or copying what someone else has done. Rather, it is about understanding yourself, paying attention to your specific situation, and finding what fits best for you at that moment. You find your purpose by interacting with the world and understanding what the world needs from you. Frankl outlined 3 ways in which people can find meaning in their lives: creating a work or doing a deed. This is about achieving something or accomplishing a task. It could be a big project like writing a book or inventing something new, or it could be something simple and kind, like sharing food with someone who is hungry. Either way, it is about doing something that helps others or adds value to the world. This is about experiencing something or encountering someone. It could be a big project. This route to finding meaning is all about making connections, whether it be with other people, with nature, or with truth and beauty. This way of finding meaning is all about the relationships and experiences that enrich our lives. According to Frankl, what matters in these kinds of situations is not the suffering itself, but how you respond to it. Even in the darkest of times, you can choose to find the light. The observations of Frankl show us that the thing that gives our lives purpose is not simply one item. Friend, when you find something truly meaningful to live for, you can endure almost anything that life throws at you. If you found these insights inspiring and meaningful, please take a moment to share this video with friends, family, or anyone else you think might benefit from it. Thanks for watching.